From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up, wake up. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
and Corey Clark.
Clemson week, come get some. I'm psyched, man. Corey's here. I'm Aslan. Thanks so much for joining us here on Wake Up Warchant, proudly presented by Zaxby's. Indescribably good. So is this great promo code we're running right now for warchant.com for new annual subscribers. Even if you're a current subscriber, maybe you have another credit card that you maybe want to use and put on file, and you can, gift the gift card to somebody for Christmas, perhaps. The Black Friday sale is going on right now, Corey. Nike $75 for an annual membership for new subscribers, which is pretty much a 25% discount. And then you get a $75 e-card for Nike. So you get Warchant, you get Corey, you get Ira, Michael Langston, Gene Williams all in the palm of your hand, and then you get a gift card for $75. Can't beat it, can you, Corey?
That's as good as it gets. That's as good as – you're not going to find a better deal anywhere on the internet. Anywhere.
Bingo. That's how it works. We already got a whole bunch of people in the queue. We're going to be taking phone calls. 850-805-5911 is the call, and we'll also be taking some comments and questions from people here on YouTube. I'm glad we do the show on Tuesday nights, Corey, because I just don't know what would we talk about on Tuesday to then package for a podcast on Wednesday, because we get most of the brunt of Mike Norvell's comments and thoughts on Monday. So I'm glad we have everybody to sort of help propel us through the evening, the day, the morning. And with that said, if we could hop over to our friendly folks over on the warchant.com tribal council, although the screen is blank right now. There we go. I need to refresh it. Somebody asked a really good question, Corey.
Okay.
Steel Nolan, check this out. Joined November 14th, 2013. So right at the peak of everything. First ever post. He's been around for 7 years. And now he's like, I'm gonna
Not even a post like on January 6, 2014. Like, we did it. We're national champs.
Yeah.
He stayed poised for that whole time.
Yeah. So let me get all this stuff up and running. Oh, geez. You should see what's happening to my screen. So much going on for your boy. He doesn't know how to handle everything. But anyhow, the question for the people who can't see their screen that listen to the podcast, and those of you who are watching us on YouTube, we do appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up button if you could, please. Wake up, Corey and Aslan. First-time poster. Want to start off by saying thanks. I listen to Wake Up Warchant every single day on my commute and subscribed out of the feeling like I owed you to be on my 5-star review. I am from Jacksonville. So apparently he had this username since 2013, but now he finally subscribed. So
Okay. All right. I see what you're doing, Steel Knoll.
I'm from Jacksonville, went to Sandalwood High before my time at Florida State. Both were home to DeMarcus Walker. That's true.
Okay.
Jeff
Florida State, great.
Yeah. Now for the question. On Tuesday's show, Corey talked about how trading quarterbacks would not change his mind on who would win this weekend against Clemson. Would trading the entire defense change your mind? I ask, as it seems that my concerns as a fan are more about the defensive ineptitude more than the quarterback play recently. Thanks. I think that's an amazing question, Corey.
So if Florida State and Clemson just swapped defenses,
Yes.
but everything else remains the same.
Yes.
So Venables doesn't come with them.
No, you bring everything, man. Not just personally, you bring the whole defense. You get the coaches too.
Ooh. No, because, well, man, that's a good one. I think we got a fourth quarter battle.
That's the one sort of swap you could do. I mean, I know it's a big swap. It's like, 30 players and 5 coaches.
Yeah, it's only 30. Yeah, it's only 35 people.
That's the one thing that does make you, and it underscores, I think, the biggest concern. We've seen this offense play good in spurts. We've seen them, win a game where mainly it lied kind of on their shoulders. We haven't seen anything like that from the defense. I think that whenever we do point out good things about the defense, the bar for them is so inexcusably, embarrassingly low that even commenting about it is almost embarrassing in of itself.
So I'm trying to do it in my head, because part of me is like, well, if Florida State's offense, they can't move the ball against anyone, really. They struggle. We don't know we don't even know who the quarterback's going to be on Saturday. They don't have any wideouts. But then the other part of me is like, well, yeah, but they're playing Florida State's defense. So the middle of the field will be open. So, that's a tough one. I still think I lean on Trevor Lawrence. At that point, I think you go to the quarterback. Everything being equal, I think you go to the quarterback, and I think Trevor Lawrence would do enough against his own defense than Jordan Travis or Chuba Purdy would do against the Florida State defense.
Okay.
If that makes sense. But it's a close game. It might come down to special teams, turnovers. Great question. What if you swap the entire roster for both teams? Who wins?
Josh Kuhn tweeted at us. I know it's not going to happen, but can one of y'all, and he tweeted at everybody that has a microphone and does a podcast, so it's not just us. Can one of y'all do a podcast about how we can beat Clemson? Is it on par of, I don't know, like UAB doing a podcast on how they could beat Alabama? Or like Furman almost doing a podcast on how to beat Clemson?
It's like Vanderbilt beating Alabama.
Yeah.
If you did a podcast on that. Look, it's inconceivable.
Yeah.
Like I can't, in my head, the way these rosters are constructed, there's no – it would have to be a monsoon. I think a monsoon helps you. It evens the playing field. And then you just hope that they can't hang on to the ball. You block some punts because there's just no way you can line up and beat this team. I don't even know how you stay you're competitive. If you can get this game into the third quarter, you've done something. But I just don't see how – you just don't have the horses to play. You have the horses to play with Pitt. Don't get me wrong. You have the horses to play with Pitt, Louisville, and NC State. You don't have the horses to play with Clemson. It's just not – it's not comparable. That doesn't mean we can excuse what's happened the last 3 weeks, but what's going to happen on Saturday, just cover your eyes.
I'm just trying to think like 2013 Florida State, the indestructible force, the immovable object that they were, like people trying to do a podcast about how they're like if NC State, the Wolfpacker was doing a podcast, how they beat Florida State. And that's, how would a Florida State lost in 2013 to a North Carolina State, to Wake Forest? How would, try to wrap
They
your
couldn't.
head around.
Yeah, they couldn't. But the difference, I think, is I don't think this Clemson team is that. Like, I think they're very good. Obviously, they're one of the best teams in the country. They're not an all-time great. I mean, they have a loss already. They were barely beating Syracuse. They struggled a little bit with Virginia. They've had moments where they haven't been great.
All right, 97 Florida State. Think about 97 Florida State.
Sure, or 14 Florida State. Yeah. But I can't. The disparity is to that level. I think it's to the Florida State, Syracuse, Florida State, NC State 2013 level. And just the confidence. Like these guys have never been close. They lost 59-10 to Clemson 2 years ago. Last year they were down 42-0 to Clemson. So in the span of 6.5 quarters, they had been outscored 101-10.
Is that good?
No, and the touchdown was in the fourth quarter against their third stringers when Keyshawn Helton took a pass and went 75 yards.
All right.
I mean, come on. You'd scored. I don't know that you've scored a touchdown against their starters since you haven't. You haven't scored a touchdown against the Clemson starting defense, and going back to the James Blackman trick play to Izzo in 2017. Yeah. So it's just it has not been pretty, and it will not be pretty on Saturday. I can't fathom how it would be.
So there you go, Josh. All right, let's take a phone call. That's what the show's about, after all. Welcome on in to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's. Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
Hey, gentlemen, it's Gator Kirk. How are you guys doing this evening?
I'll tell you, Gator Kirk, Aslan always kind of throws me off because the way he asked it right there, I'm like, oh, is it not Gator Kirk? Because he didn't seem to know who it was. Although you did know who it was, right, Aslan?
No, there's notes that shows whoever called from the last number who it was. And I guess Gator, he let his lady friend use the phone last time. It showed the cat called from this number last time.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
Maybe it was her.
No, it's me. I was going to say, hey, I'm a first-time caller, but then everyone would know that's not true.
That's not true.
No.
I've always
wanted the first caller.
I've always wanted to do this, Corey, and I've never. My mind's always frozen up. Like whenever I go on a date for the first time with a girl, I really want to use a Borat accent. Because look at me, look at my name, and if you don't speak to me on the phone, you just change messages to me, and then I show up and I'm like, hello, nice to meet you. Just totally blow their mind. But I've never done that. But I like where your head was at, Gator Kirk. You should have thrown us a curveball on that. But what's up?
Really, man?
what's going on with what's going on in the 757? What are you hoping for this weekend?
I'm hoping to have some good chicken wings and to cover the spread.
Okay.
Well, that would be something.
That's the first thing.
Realistic expectations. I like it.
Yeah. I'm hoping more people hit the thumbs up button since there's 128 watching and only 24 thumbs up.
Yeah, come on, guys. Come on. Listen to Gator Kirk. If you don't listen to us, listen to Gator Kirk.
Step up.
But my question, I have a non-related football question because I've heard enough about the Tigers down there. So my question for you all is, which coach would you like to go with on a road trip?
Oh.
In 6 hours in a car.
Well, Kenny would be awake. I don't think Kenny would fall asleep. I hate people that fall asleep on road trips. So I think Kenny would be wide awake and jolted up. So
I feel like Dillingham could be a little too much, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably cool for 45 minutes or an hour, and then it's like, all right, you're really that excited about Fleetwood Mac or whatever we're listening to? Like, calm it down a little, Kenny. Norvell's it's too much too. Like, in his own way. Like, I don't think Norvell's as good a time. I think he's a nice enough guy, but I think he's pretty serious. Fuller, the accent. I think I go with Papuchis, maybe. Or Marv. Those are my two guys. I think Papuchis or Marv are the two guys that I think I could relate to. We could sit back and just have conversations about football and life and sports and get into it a little bit. I think those are my two guys. Who do you got, Aslan?
No, I'm saying Kenny. I just want somebody to stay awake.
Oh, you do. You can handle that. Okay.
I like the way he talks about ball too. I feel, and I'm an offensive guy. I feel like I could pick his brain.
Right. You are an offensive guy.
So. I would go Kenny, back up, probably David Johnson. I bet David Johnson's got some pretty just cool stories, recruiting for Tennessee, bagmen stories in the SEC. That would help pass the time.
Okay.
So,
all right.
That's where I would go. All right. G, you got anything else for us?
And no, just eat Zaxby's, go Noles, and join Warchant. That's about it.
That's right.
Hopefully we'll have a good show on this Saturday, and we'll see some progress either individually or with player groups.
That's right.
Let's hope.
Progress. Gator Kirk, everybody, from the 757. Thanks, Kirk. Appreciate the call, man.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
Thanks, buddy. I feel like, I know Gator Kirk doesn't have the most, effervescent voice anyway, but I feel like this season has really worn on my man a little bit, and understandably. I mean, he doesn't have the juice that he had at the beginning of the season. We should go back and listen to maybe do a best of Gator Kirk, like just how he sounded before the Georgia Tech game, and then before the Louisville game after that North Carolina win, and then this week. It's a pretty evident drop in excitement, which is understandable because what's there to be excited about? The NBA draft is tomorrow. That's fun.
Yeah, the draft is tomorrow. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's grab this. It's a pillar of the show. It's Mark down in Naples. Man, Mark, what'd you think about DJ's performance in Augusta this past weekend?
Jamash, my name is Borat.
That's all right. Next man.
Dean, DJ just dominated. I mean, he held the lead when he it seemingly had some good. The leaderboard was very boring. I think we can all agree on that. What is impressive is that Tiger made a 10 on 12 and then birdied 5 out of the last 6 holes.
I know.
But, good for DJ. That was a long time coming,
Guys, obviously this is not a golf show. This is not Wake Up Golf. But I will say this. What Tiger did on Sunday, that's one of the all-time great moments of his legacy, I think. And he has the best in probably the sports history. But to get a 10, and not even on a par 5, on a 7 over on a hole, is nuts. I don't do that. I don't know that I've ever had a 10 on a par 3. And then to birdie 5 of the next 6 holes, that's Tiger, man. That's what greatness looks like. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So, that was awesome. But I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I just read on the tribal council about the last hour about Chubba's apparent injury. So that adds a little interesting twist to this game. If he can't go, and if Travis, we don't know if he can go. I'm wondering if Anquan Bolden is available this Saturday. maybe Wyatt Rector will line up. I'm thinking Wildcat the whole game. So I just wanted to get your all's take on that and what we could possibly do to have a quarterback play the whole game with some competency. Because that's just recent news that I saw, and it's if it wasn't bad enough, well, boys, we're in it deep right now.
Yeah, Gene Williams has gone ahead and started a thread on the tribal council about Chubba's health. Does sound like there's some sort of smoke around him right now and him not being available for Saturday. And we really don't even know what's going on. Jordan Travis, we don't know if he's cleared concussion protocol, if his arm is still bothering him. And that's, man, I mean, I can't even wrap my head around, Corey, going into this game with, I don't know, like Tate Rodemaker and I don't know, Geno English. Is he still on the roster? I think he's still on the roster.
He was warming up on Saturday. Blackman's not available. Not that would make much of a difference. Hey, Blackman threw a touchdown against these guys. That's all I'm saying. I think he threw the one at 18 too to Helton. He owns Clemson.
He does.
I don't know. There is some smoke there. We have no idea about Jordan. If neither one of those guys can go, and we have no idea to know that they can or can't, it was always going to be a hide your eyes sort of situation. I legitimately, what would the penalty be if you just called the ACC and said we are not playing? We're not playing. What would they do?
Come take the unconquered statue away from us.
That's all they can do, right? Like, it's not like you're losing a ton of money. I guess they'd fine you if you just decided not to play. I don't know what you do in that spot. I don't know if you let Travis Jay play some at quarterback. It's not going to matter. If Jordan Travis if he's only like 45% healthy, I don't know what even the point is of playing him. But if you play Tate Rodemaker in a game like this,
oh boy,
you could lose by 80 points. And that's not a shot at Tate Rodemaker. Well, it is. That was certainly a shot at Tate Rodemaker, but I didn't mean it like that. I mean, he hasn't worked with the offense very much. He's obviously limited mobility-wise, and I think that's the only way you can beat Ian Book got outside of these guys a little bit. I think mobile quarterbacks, they give every defense problem. I think that was your only chance to at least move the ball, is to have some quarterback that can, but they're going to blitz him every down. You don't have wide receivers that can beat the blitz. It will be ugly, and it will be thorough. It will be a thorough, ugly beating. But, I can't even imagine what it would look like.
Well, here's a question. Well, if they do end up going to battle with Tate Rodemaker and just losing horrendously, like 63 to 6, like what is that going to do for they keep getting worse. Like they're getting blown out.
I mean, you've got to put it in like perspective, right? Like,
it's an excuse, people would say. I think
it's your fourth string quarterback against the possible national champions. I mean, if Clemson in 14 had played their fourth string quarterback, that game probably doesn't go to overtime. You probably win by 4 touchdowns. 13, you would have won by 80. Yeah, man. But either way, it's going to be ugly on Saturday. That would make it, to me, almost unwatchable. Not almost. It would be unwatchable. I don't know. There's no hope.
It's your job, Corey. You'll have to watch it.
I know.
We'll talk. We do get to talk to Mike Norvell, Mark, on Wednesday morning. It's the last time we get him. I'm sure, if one of us doesn't ask, I'm sure somebody on the call will. But I don't know what he's really going to tell us. But again, I mean, it just doesn't seem very encouraging right now for Chubba. And whatever innocuous comment he made about Jordan Travis on Monday, he said about Hamza Nasruddin back in October, and we never saw him play. So I don't even know, like, would you just try to run the ball? I mean, you just go wishbone? I mean, they talk about making a simple high school game plan as they could, Corey. I mean, is it just simple as you just run the ball, just get the game over with?
I feel like you get a delay a game. You snap it at 1 or get a delay a game before every snap.
Okay.
That's at least 2 minutes of drive. And then you tell your safeties to keep doing what you're doing, like back up to the end zone, tackle them in front, and then make their drives at least last 7 or 8 plays. And I don't know. There's no hope. There's no hope if Jordan Travis and Chubba Purdy can't play. There was no hope anyway, like I keep saying, but I don't know how you even move the ball.
I mean, we're hopeful, but do we expect to not be talking like this next year? Like to where we go into games where it's just, I mean, even NC State, it was a 10.5-point line, and none of us thought they were going to even come close to the line.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wonder, like, are we going to – because I know we're having fun with this, but there's a lot of people that are really extreme – there's some, I should say. like my brother, my friends, our group text, everybody just, you can only help but laugh kind of at this moment, this situation. But there's certain people that they're legitimately like upset, angry. Like, how can you talk about this program like this? How can you give up? How can you have this quitting mentality? I mean, I can laugh at it now, but I don't think I'm gonna be laughing at it if it's happening next year.
No, but you hope next year your quarterbacks are healthy. Now, these two particular haven't really shown an ability to stay healthy, which is a enormous problem if it continues. But they could just be like anomalies. Like they really might be, they might end up being really healthy. Maybe these are the only injuries they suffer their whole careers. But right now they just happen to be happening simultaneously throughout a year, and you've got nobody really there to play. I don't know. Do you think they would recognize Ponder if you put him in Geno English's uniform? Because he could wear a mask.
Yeah.
You wear a mask, so you're covering half your face anyway. And you're like, look, he played well this week at practice. And then after the game, you just don't make him available. But he's not allowed to take off his mask.
And then we'll take his helmet off. That's an option.
Guys, I'm throwing it out there. Nobody knows what Geno English looks like. Nobody's seen that guy. So just put Ponder in there and put a mask on him.
There you go. All right, Mark. Good question. Yeah. How are you going to take Saturday, with lots of liquor? Pretty much.
Liquor. I hardly know her.
Yeah.
No, I think the only positive I can see is that the young guys will see the speed and efficiency that a team like Clemson can play at. It's another learning experience. I think they're just going to hit the gas and get to the end of the season. And I'm not even sure if a bowl game is really advantageous at this point. If that happens, it's just Wildcat, play 4 downs. We already are playing 4 downs anyways. Maybe 2 off some clock. Maybe Travis is healthy and he can, break off some runs and keep the defense honest. But, I'm going to be watching 4 quarters, at least it's a noon game, right?
Big win.
Let's try to find, continue to find some positives. At least the team seems to be playing more for each other. We saw a little bit of that NC State, and it didn't seem to be as many selfish efforts as we saw. And let's just go with that,
Okay, there we go. Mark in Naples, man. Matt AMCZ on the Tribal Council. We appreciate the call and the messages as always, man. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Good night, guys. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That's not something to dismiss or take lightly. That does matter, the way they play. And I think Florida State fans are embarrassed, obviously, by the results. But I think in previous seasons, like, say, the Boston College game in 17, mini games in 18, maybe 1 in 19, 1 or 2 in 19, you were embarrassed about the effort, not just the result. I don't think that's happening anymore. The Miami game, sure. But after that, I feel like the Louisville game too. Sorry. So they're on a 2-game streak of not just being completely embarrassed, but I don't think they don't play hard. I just think they aren't coached well on one side of the ball, or haven't been. They're not receiving the coaching or not taking it in. But I think they're playing hard. I think they're playing with effort, and that is something to build on. And they are incredibly young.
Well, they did against Clemson last year. They had a 4th down stop goal line in the first half against Clemson. I mean, they did.
Hey, that's right. That's right.
I mean, again, like, I thought they played hard against Virginia. I thought we all thought they were going to come out and play like complete just quitters against Virginia after what they looked like against Louisiana Monroe. And they played Virginia really good. So, this whole like sort of thing that people like they quit on Willie or whatever. I mean, he still got them playing pretty decent.
I don't think they quit on Willie. They didn't excel under Willie, but they certainly didn't quit on him. Like, they didn't get blown out except for that Clemson game. All the other ones were games they could have won.
Ray Pereira says, "Go Noles." I don't think we get blown out. Call me crazy.
Ray, I'm never going to call you crazy.
Yeah, come on. But
I might disagree, but there's no chance I'm ever calling you crazy. Absolutely, Ray.
William Hall drops a tip in the jar, gets us started. That's right. I say someone talk to Saban, and he if you are really the GOAT, come to FSU and turn this thing around. Never know.
Yeah, anybody can win at LSU and Alabama.
Yeah.
Come on, revise your legacy, man. Come to Florida State and turn that around. William, I'm with you, buddy. Although the same thing. Like, if you get a coach in here with a pedigree and can really do things, how long do you think it would take Saban to turn Florida State around? 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, because he's going to recruit like a madman.
Well, the whole country will transfer to him.
Yeah.
He can just get the best players off any team in the country, number one. But yeah, he could turn Florida State around. They would be playing for championships within 2 years. So $22 million a year you offer them.
Improve your legacy, Nick Saban. Like you have to, Dabo's coming for you.
Yeah.
Like this way you cement your legacy. You come to Florida State and you rebuild.
And you get to play Dabo every year and thump them into the ground.
There you go. William Hall, we appreciate the tips, man. Pistol Mike in the house. Pistol Mike, bring a little extra sauce.
Dollar bills, y'all.
$24.99 for your guys. Appreciate you, Pistol Mike. There's so much hate out there for this team and staff right now. I'm just happy to be here where we use logic to dissect this program rather than anger and misguided intellect as head coaches in waiting. We're trying, I guess, We're angry too, but I don't know. We just I'm a little bit numb to it. The expectations have changed. Again, one thing that, if the roles were reversed and like Mike Norvell got hired in 18 and looked that bad in 19 and got fired and it was Willie, I still think like this whole sort of narrative that people like on YouTube have of us showing favoritism to Mike Norvell, man, the expectations were absolutely halted into the ground here the last, 18 months. So it's different. It's just,
is. And I thought going into 18, I'm like, man, they could win 9 or 10 games.
Yeah,
you have this talent.
Absolutely.
You're getting Francois back. You have Marvin Wilson, Brian Burns, Asante Samuel, people like that on defense. You didn't lose a ton of close games the year before. You had actually ended the season on a 4-game winning streak or whatever it was.
Right.
And then you're coming into 18 and you're thinking, okay, now they're going to play faster and looser and have more fun. This could be a 9 or 10 win team. And he's going to recruit his butt off. And so the expectations were different. This year, I hope I might have said 9 wins, but that was just trying to get you guys to subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. I do think that this year they were more measured, but we didn't think it would be this bad either. And I mean, I think that there's something telling in these guys' first years on the job. Willie was better in 2019 than he was in 2018, but 2018 was awful.
Yeah,
it was awful. They got blown out by Syracuse, Virginia Tech, name them, 59-10 to Clemson, just Florida.
I want to go back and see for how long they led games in 2018 versus like now. Or maybe just take 8 ACC games from 2018 and compare them to this one. But I made the same mistake this past year because in 2019 they were close to winning some games. Yeah. Like they should have beaten Wake Forest. They should have beaten Boise. They could have beaten Virginia. So okay, now you're looking, well, they were kind of close to being a 9-win team. Well, no, I'm not making that mistake ever again. They are what they were. They were a losing team. They lost those games for a reason. They seemingly have taken a step back. And they have, by results-wise, they have. But it's it is different circumstances. This is not his roster. Let's see what he looks like with his roster. Willie Taggart, I don't know how many Willie Taggart recruits were on the field Saturday. Not a ton, though. Certainly not at quarterback. Certainly not at running back. Certainly not at receiver. Helton, I guess. So, he wasn't given a great roster. Willie Taggart, as much as we can say about what Jimbo had done, and he had not left it in a great shape. Because I tweeted this at somebody today, because he was saying, look, we didn't used to get blown out. We weren't getting blown out by the bottom feeder teams in the ACC until this year under Norvell. And I'm like, well, that's not true. NC State beat them by 20. Syracuse beat them by 20. Virginia Tech beat them by 20. Mediocre Miami beat them by 17 last year. But that 2018 team had Brian Burns and Cam Akers and a healthy DeAndre Francois and Tamorian Terry. It had players. And this one, obviously doesn't have – it's not nearly as talented as even the 18 roster was. And the 18 roster wasn't great. So it's a work in progress, man. It's a work in progress. Callers, we apologize for the delayed wait. Man, what is this person doing here? We got people like talking politics, man. Come on, man. Knock it off. What?
Wow.
What? Kirk, no, what? What?
Dollar bills, y'all.
Let's go, man. That's from my boy John Scott, who doesn't like the show because he says that it sounds like a strip club. Sorry, man. We're having fun. Somebody walk walks up to you and gives you $200 in the street, he's gonna be like, "Hey man, thanks, man, have a good day."
No, we get excited on this show.
Sorry, man.
We get excited.
Apologies. Kirk Knoll, pick his 2014 kickoff classic in Dallas versus Oklahoma State. So that's the photo, Corey. We both thought.
Okay, we were wrong. We thought it was Atlanta.
We're wrong. All right. Good hair. Good head of hair. Just a little bit jealous. Lean a little too forward. The light hits it. Not good. If FSU gets invited to a bowl game this year, what team would you like to see them play and it not be a blowout? Florida. I'd like to play them close.
I mean, what world are you living in?
But it wouldn't, what do you say, and not be a blowout? I mean, we're hoping.
I think he's saying like maybe who would they play where it wouldn't be a blowout? Not like I'd rather than say Alabama.
I want FAU. Give me FAU. I want FAU.
No reason to ever play FAU. Ole Miss. I think that would be a fun game. You'd score some points.
Yeah.
You'd give up plenty, but you do that to everyone anyway. But you'd score some points. So I'd say Ole Miss would be nice, or Mississippi State, one of those two, the Mississippi schools. Shane, that's awesome, man. That's incredible that you did that. Yeah, who was the last person that asked that gave us money? Because I didn't say thank you to them too.
Pistol Mike, I think was Pistol Mike.
Yeah, Pistol Mike. That's great too, man. We really, really appreciate it. That's way too generous. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. It's awesome, but that's incredible what you guys are doing.
Yeah, give me I want FAU or maybe like a Big 12 team like Texas. I don't think we get blown out. Texas is all right. Yeah, I want like a name brand team. So I don't know, Kirk, no, let us know, Shane, let us know who you think Florida State can match up in a bowl game and not get blown out by. Although,
do you think that picture is before the game or after the game or like the day before he was getting a tour or something?
He looks too cool to show up to a game that early to where it's empty. So I think it's afterwards. I think he was basking in the victory.
In the big win over Oklahoma State.
Yeah. And it's
okay. All right.
So that's what I'm going to say. I think they say real recognize real, Corey.
Yeah.
Is that what you'd say?
Yeah, that's Ray Pereira. He's in Ray Pereira's territory. That's Ray Pereira's turf.
We should do something called like Ray-rified air. Like rarefied
there you go.
air.
I got you. Hey, I got it. I got the pun.
Trying a little bit. Callers, we'll get to you. We'll get to some of these comments too. But here's our guy, Redbeard, dropping a hundo. Redbeard just going around dropping a hundo. Come on, man. I mean, it is what it is. Corey, by the way, you're dancing last week. Somebody made like a GIF out of it. And
good.
On Twitter.
Good. Stephanie will like that.
I need to retweet that from the Wake Up Warchant account. Redbeard, we appreciate you, man. He asked us a question on Twitter the other day, and I didn't get back to him. I forgot what it was, but if you remember, feel free to shoot us the question, Redbeard. But he says, hey, gentlemen, just want to let you guys know, at least for me, that the money I give each week isn't about the team. It's about Aslan and Corey and all you guys do. Keep your heads up. Go Noles.
Thanks, buddy. I really am, and thank you very much, man. Again, never going to be taken for granted. It's genuinely incredible and touching that you guys tip us like this. I really am looking forward to the day when we're talking about fun stuff because it is coming. It will come at some point. I don't know if it's going to be next year or 2023, but we're going to be doing this show for a while, and it will be really neat to talk about a good football team again. And not like what I miss, Aslan, is talking about specific matchups. Like to win this game, you're gonna have to slow down, Nick Marshall, or you can't let Deshaun Watson get out. Like real things that mattered, not just let's see if they cover the spread and play with any heart. Like I'm so sick of football games not really mattering. Like the specifics not really matter. I really like getting into the nuts and bolts and the X's and O's and what you have to do in the matchups. And we can't really do that right now because of where the program is. But it'll get back there, and that will be really fun. I think you'll enjoy listening to us more. Yeah. As much as you like us now, I think it'll be even more fun when we're actually talking about a great product. I really do, and I can't wait for that for all of us.
That's well said. Michael Shapley tweeted at us during the game. I feel sorry for you guys that you have to cover this and talk about it for an hour every single day on the podcast. It's abysmal. But no, it's going to be once this thing turns. Man, just Corey's going to take us all out, and
we are going to have once we all get vaccinated, which is coming soon, thanks apparently to Dolly Parton. Once we all get vaccinated, we're going to have a Wake Up Warchant meet and greet. But it's not going to be a meet and greet. It's not going to be a meet and greet where we hang out for like 30 minutes. Maybe we'll have a beer. I mean, we are getting after it that night, folks.
Yeah.
We're renting party buses. We're going wherever the night takes us. Wherever the night, it might be the morning. It might be the morning light until we're done.
Yeah. Sorry about that. This computer keeps wanting me to update, but I'm not going to update. Redbeard, appreciate it so much. Again, can't say enough about how awesome it is that you guys support us like that. We're trying to do a good show for you, every day, every now and then. Some days are better than others. We'll take one phone call, then we'll get back because JR, I like JR in Atlanta. JR in Atlanta is good. Jay's hanging on the phone too, but Jay needs to calm down. Jay got a little sassy last week. Jay got sassy on YouTube. JR, where are you at right now, man?
I am at work, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's get you on and let's get you off, man. What's on your mind, JR?
So, Corey, me and you talked about Warren Thompson last week about being that receiver that should step up.
Absolutely.
He only had one catch, and I know he only had one catch, but that one catch was very contested. He got the foot down. It looked like a thing of beauty. I was wondering if you think that maybe unlocked something, because that was his very first touchdown of his career, if you all didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did know that. I don't know. I'm not going to go there and say that yet. Warren Thompson hasn't given us enough reason to believe that that's going to spark him, but then he's never had a catch like that. And again, we can roll our eyes and say they were down by whatever they were down, 24 points with 6 minutes to go or whatever it was. It didn't really matter. Well, it mattered to him. I mean, that's a big-time catch. That he caught it over the guy's back and got a foot down while he's getting pushed. That, to me, it's obviously the best play he's ever made. And you hope – I know he's not 100% healthy. That seems obvious. But you just hope, and maybe we don't even see it this week at all. But these next two games after this week, if he can have one game where he catches like 5 for 100 or has a 60-yard game, that's something to build on going into next season. Again, he had a terrible drop. But the good news, the good thing, Warren Thompson has never responded well since he's been at Florida State. So for him to have that bad drop that he had in the first half and then come back and draw a pass interference penalty, didn't he? He drew a pass interference penalty, right? And then on that same drive, he catches that touchdown in the end zone. That's good stuff. That's as good a catch as a Florida State wide receiver has made in a long while. So he at least showed what he can do. Now, obviously, he's got to develop some consistency. But, yeah, sometimes that can be what it takes, man. JR, like you hear Norvell, talk about all the wow plays he made in camp. And then when you lose confidence, you lose confidence. Maybe that can be the spark. It's like a freshman baseball player hitting 100, but in a game they're losing 10-0 against Florida, he hits a 2-run home run against a good pitcher. All of a sudden that builds your confidence, and he can go on a run. You got to hope it happens with Warren Thompson because they don't have a lot of options out there, and that was really good to see. I agree with you.
Anything else for us, JR?
What in the world is Adam Fuller doing having our secondary DBs play 8, 9, 10 yards off the ball on a average Joe, on any receiver, it doesn't matter, any receiver, but especially Saturday, Thayer Thomas, whatever his name is.
Thayer Thomas.
He went 11 for one.
Steve Largent Jr.
Yeah, he went 11 for 135 and 2 tutties. I'm like, he had 16 catches on the year, and you let him go off like that because you don't want nobody playing 5 yards in. Or why not let Asante Samuel follow him around when he starts to heat up to go ahead and take him out of the game?
Okay, that's legitimate. That's legitimate, Jared. What I wanted to say to Corey, just to kind of, just to elicit some conversation here. I'm going to mute you, by the way, JT, but you should be able to, JR, I'm sorry, but you should be able to hear us. So, Corey,
I hope he's okay. That sounded like he was the people were honking at him.
You talked about, Corey, at least they kind of made Bailey Hockman have to make some, above average plays. They made him have to earn it. Well, isn't that kind of a result of them playing off the ball and not playing so aggressively? Because if they do play up, if they do jam, if they do try to take so many chances and they get beat, that's where you get the 60-yard breakdowns. I mean, it seems like maybe the plan is make these guys have to earn the yards, make them have to make all the throws. And now they are, but still it's a way of resistance.
Yeah, I thought more with Hockman, it was more like he had to move his spot a lot. He didn't just get to stand back there and scan. He actually, they got some pressure on him. He had to move. He had to break some tackles. He had to rush towards the line. There were plays there were actually really good throws he made, moving to his left, moving to his right. Some of those to Thayer Thomas?
Yeah, Thayer Thomas.
I mean, again, there's middle school kids all across the country that Brady makes those throws. The one in the end zone, I promise you, my 12-year-old takes that snap, sees six guys rushing at him, and just throws it. And throws it. But Thayer Evans is so open, it doesn't matter. He's going to catch it. And Brendan Gantz, defending the goalpost because he didn't want him to dunk over the goalpost or something. That, to me, I can't imagine. And we'll talk to Adam Fuller Wednesday. I can't imagine that's taught because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. That we talked about this on headlines today. When you talk about a coordinated defense, coordinate the defense. If you're rushing 6, you can't play off that much, especially on the slot guy on third down. Don't let him get the third down. Don't let him get the first down. And not only did you do that, you let him get a touchdown. That was really bizarre coverages there. But part of it, you can't just throw up your hands and be like, look who they're playing. They're not their best guys. And the ones that are there, the ones they're playing are either young or hurt. Or injured, and it's just not. They don't have a lot of great players to work with in the secondary. But there's no excuse on third and 8 that the safety is playing back in the end zone and lets the guy just catch it for a wide open touchdown. When you blitz 6, you know you're rushing. You're gonna have a free blitzer, so he's gonna have to get rid of it quickly. Don't let the guy just run unabated to the end zone.
Right.
I'm with you, JR.
All right, Joe. We're gonna let you go, man. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good day. Subscribe, eat Zaxby's, and let's try to cover the spread Saturday. Go Noles.
Like it.
JR in Atlanta calling us on the clock. Company time, company dime. I like it, man. That's my kind of dude. All right. We do have callers still waiting in the queue, but man, we got to get back to our friends here on YouTube that keep tipping us here, man. As I scroll through this here, in the wind, Aslan and Corey still skirting around calling Norvell suspect. I
don't know that you're listening to the show then.
What? We're not good. We don't like any of this.
Well, also, I don't think you'll hear any of us say that we think Norvell is going to lead them to a championship. We ain't sold on anything in the wind. I'm not sold on anything. There are reasons that they're bad. We get it. There are a lot of people to blame, but there's nothing I've seen through 9 games or 8 games, about to be 9, that makes me think, yep, 2023, it's a national championship. I'm not seeing that at all. But there are also reasons and explanations for why they're so bad. It's not all Norvell's fault. But yeah, we're suspect to him. Yeah. We're suspect to all of them.
Matt Cash, welcome to the party, big dog.
Dollar bills, y'all.
$24.99, doesn't even want to say anything, just wants to give us money. That's awesome.
Aptly named Matthew Cash. Thank you, bud.
Matty Dollars giving us that mailbox money, that passive income, just hanging out, not even saying anything, man. We appreciate it, Matthew.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Feel free to give us a question or whatever, man. We'll get you up here on the screen, give you some love. And hey, man, he called us, and then he comes and drops some cash. Mark Adam check. Come on, man, get some.
Dollar bills, y'all.
I mean, Corey, what can you say? What can we say about
There's nothing to say.
Down the Foley. $150 from Mark, who called earlier. You guys heard from him, giving us his Masters breakdown. Regardless of how we play against Clemson, he says, you guys are bringing it every day. We're trying. It's rebuilding time. This time next year, we'll be talking about beatdowns of NC State, Louisville, and Pitt. I don't think so, but we'll be talking about wins, hopefully. Let's just win.
Yeah. How about some fourth quarter wins with Travis and Purdy both accounting for like 400 yards of total offense. I don't think they're going to be beating down anytime soon. But man, hopefully they can at least be competitive. At the very least, be competitive against the likes of Louisville. That would be nice. And Pitt, maybe be competitive against them.
And to win.
But thank you very much.
Mark, we got to handle these people. We got to handle these people coming at your boys' throats. This is why fans are upset when you talk about coaching. And the Win says, Urban, Saban, those top-tier coaches can change a program in 1 year. They tried, man. They went after Bob Stoops. They did. They tried. They couldn't get him.
But you're also, in the Win, you're talking about two of the 4 best coaches of all time?
Well, I don't know if Urban's that high.
Look, man, Urban's great. There's a lot of baggage with that dude. But what he did at Florida, but he also went to Florida and Ohio State. In Florida, we can say what we want about Ron Zook. That roster was loaded when Urban took over. And obviously Saban is just the best that's ever done it. And Urban got to coach at Florida and Ohio State. I'm not saying that Norvell's Urban or Saban. How could anyone say that? I'm not saying, look, what do you want? But yeah, maybe we're for the people that aren't reading this, the people that are listening to the. Apparently, I'm just going to have a conversation with In the Wind.
No, you're not, because
call in the Wind.
Well, I mean, what to be critical about? Like, I have not seen him blow a game. They have not been in a game where he's made a stupid play call that's cost them the game. And now part of that's because they're getting blown out. These games,
sure.
But that's kind of where I'm at with. I mean, there's things there's nothing that I'm not seeing anything that egregiously is like, oh my gosh, this guy is horrible. Like this guy has no.
Yeah. And to be fair, we didn't say that about Willie either. At least I didn't in 2018. I was like, look, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. And he was getting better. He wasn't getting better quick enough for the administration. So they left. But look, man, once you saw that Miami game, you're like that, look, this season is what it is. There's not a lot of talent. They're not well coached. They don't know how to win. And so, it's going to take time to judge this. Urban Meyer and Nick Saban might not be losing these games by 30 points, but they would still have a losing record this season because of the quarterback play. I totally believe that. Next year, because of what they can do recruiting, next year, I think they would flood this roster with good players. They would take some lumps, but they would be much better. Norvell's not in that class yet, man. He's not, obviously, and he might not ever get there. But, golly, Urban Meyer and Nick Saban, unless we go back to like Bowling Green days, never took over a roster like this. Look, we're going to replay this show, Aslan, in its entirety, January 6th, 2024.
Okay.
When Norvell's going up against Saban, 80-year-old Saban, or however old he be there, in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Well, hey, we got breaking news here. The bar has been reset. Kirknall comes back with 50 more bones. You didn't have to do that, man. You did it.
Dollar
bill, y'all. That was celebration picture after the win. See, I knew it. A great game that day. Money's for all the great work by the two of you. Thank you.
Man, you just look, though. There's nobody in the stadium. Like, I wonder if he had to be escorted out. Like, sir, we got to go now. We're wrapping it up. The janitors are leaving. The press is leaving. The team's already left. But that's a shame, man. That's great. That's unbelievable that you're doing that. Thank you very much. And we hope you get to pose for more pictures like that in the very near future.
I was looking at the photo of me at the Rose Bowl earlier this evening and just missing that feeling.
We talked about that on headlines, man. Like, so remember Dalvin committed while Ira and I were out there. We were the first ones out there in LA. It was like the 26th. It was the day after Christmas for the Auburn game. Well, it wouldn't have been that. We weren't there for 10 days. But Jimbo had this Mickey Mouse press conference, like literally like a Mickey Mouse, hey, we're at Disneyland press conference. And Dalvin had actually signed so he could talk about him. It wasn't just he had committed. And I was like, man, think about where we were, Ira. It wasn't that long ago. We were covering a national championship game, and Jimbo was telling us about this kid from Miami named Dalvin Cook that was coming. They could change the numbers on the scoreboard. And where we are now, it's impossible. I would have never – you could have – imagine somebody coming to you in 14 and being like, this is what it's going to look like in 2020. I'd be like, no chance. He's got this thing humming. Why would Jimbo leave ever? He's going to be winning multiple national championships here. He gets the best players in the state every year. Florida and Miami are trash. Why would he ever leave this situation? But he did. And here we are.
And here we are with Drill Sergeant Porter coming through. Man, I mean, what is
a new blood. Drill Sergeant Porter is a new blood.
Amazing. I mean, come on. Drill Sergeant Porter with one hundo. he does tip the cap to guys like Gator Kirk and the Pillars. They might be blue bloods, but Drill Sergeant Porter, one of the new bloods, he says. Go Noles. Thanks, man. It's amazing. Appreciate it.
That's unbelievable, Drill Sergeant.
He posts to the Tribal Council. He posts on the Renegade Express. It looks like a Labradoodle, I'm going to say, Corey. You think, is that a Labradoodle? You going to sign off on that? Is that what it looks like?
I don't know dogs, but I do know that that's not the avatar you would expect from somebody named Drill Sergeant Porter, and I love it that he's got like a dog laying on a couch, like a cute little dog, furry dog laying on a couch.
Well, his Warchant avatar, I think, is of him in uniform saluting. So
okay, all right. And I wonder if obviously he's probably a real drill sergeant.
Yeah.
I wonder if he what his favorite like drill sergeant moment, like if the guy in Full Metal Jacket, is that what he was like as a drill sergeant?
Arlie
like,
Ernie.
What's your major malfunction? All that stuff.
Gunny. Yeah. All right. Cat calling in from the 757. Gator Kirk is definitely a super fan, but a best of Gator Kirk show may make him impossible to live with. It would make his year though, for sure.
Well, I don't know if it would necessarily. Thank you very much for and I like the 757, the 757 donation. We can do that. Everybody that's listening, donate whatever your area code is. You have to, or you can't listen. It's not necessarily a best of. It's more of like a judging where he was and where he got to, like how far he's fallen kind of thing. How excited he was at the beginning of the year, and now like the rest of us, how he's come to accept what we have to watch. What do you think, Aslan? Now that I was thinking about it, what do you think if Nick Saban had taken over this program this year?
Right. This year.
What do you think their record would be?
I think
same quarterbacks, same.
They beat Georgia Tech.
I think they beat. I think that's the only one though, right? Where you're like, for sure, Saban makes that much of a difference.
I don't think he lets Kenny Pickett light him up. I don't think he lets Malik Cunningham light him up, man. I just don't. We keep forgetting this defense is horrible, Corey. That's so bad. I know a lot of it's personnel driven.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that Nick Saban wouldn't find a way to manufacture pressure. Like, here's the thing.
But he went 6-7 his first year at Alabama and lost to Louisiana Monroe. Like, he turned it around quickly in the sense that next year, I think they were ranked number 1 in the country his very next year. They lost to Florida in the championship game. But I don't know that this year. I think next year would be incredible. This year, I don't know. I just think there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. Joe Parker asks if you miss Shreveport, they miss you. Ed Lamock's in the house. Ed Lamock's going Cobra Kai.
He finally left a message too.
Ed says we have to go after Trevor's leg to win. Corey, go get some flat wings. 50 bones for us. Appreciate you.
Man, that's awesome, Ed.
Bills, y'all.
Big ball and smashing, making my ends.
50 bones, Ed.
That's crazy, Ed. And he finally said something. He usually just leaves money. That's awesome that his advice is to go injure Trevor Lawrence. Which, again, I'm telling you, if you've seen the backup play, that ain't going to matter much. You're going to have to injure both of them. And I don't know that you have guys on your roster that can. They are huge dudes, both of them.
Oh, man, amazing. Oh, man. Thanks so much, everybody, for those tips. Let's take a phone call. Mike from Ocala has been waiting for 10 minutes, but Mike, I'm probably not going to get to you because Jay's been on the phone for 30 and Chris from Perry, Georgia has been on the call for 40 minutes. So we're going to take Chris right now. He wants to talk about the communication between the coaches and the fans. I'm curious to know what that actually entails. Chris, what's going on, man?
What's up, guys? Here's one for you, Corey. From Perry, Georgia, home of the great Ron Simmons.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, one of the all-time great. Well, I thought is Perry and Warner Robins? I thought he was from Warner Robins.
He was born in Perry and went to play football at Warner Robins High School.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. Yeah. Well, one of the key recruits in Florida State history.
Yeah. So, he actually grew up near Willie Reed too. So,
all right.
What I got for you guys is I think a lot of what could solve the problems with the coaches right now is their communication, because quite honestly, the fans do not trust coaches saying, hey, we're fixing things, we're cleaning things up, we're going to have it fixed, trust us. We don't trust that. We don't trust it. You're going to have to tell us more. You're going to have to tell us more about what you're doing, or the fans just aren't going to trust it.
That's fair.
I mean, it's just what it boils down to with these guys. We don't trust anymore. We've been told that for years now, and it just got to the point now where we're going to have to hear more in order to, have any faith in you. And this coming from a guy who used to be part of a college coaching staff too. So, I mean, it's tough. You hate to tell everybody what you're doing, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think, what's been unfortunate about this whole thing, well, one of the many unfortunate aspects of COVID was I think we were going to be able to watch all these practices and we'd get to see what they're doing in practice to try to curtail some of the dumb stuff or get them to believe or make them better or actually communicate with the safety. Hey, we're going to blitz here, so you need to scoot up on your man. We could see all that. We don't get to see it now. And so Norvell's got to strike the balance of telling the fans, look, this is what we got. Like, who was it? Was it Scott Frost who's like, it's going to get worse before it gets better a couple years ago? And, I don't know that that's necessarily the right message either, because you do want to give your fans hope. But I agree with Chris. Like, you keep telling us that you're continuing to grow and continuing to mature, but you're very vague about it. And meanwhile, we go out on Saturday and you keep getting down by 30 points in every game. So what are the strides that you see being made, and not just vague, nebulous answers, but like real honest, like, look, we took Brendan Gant to practice today and we showed him where he has to be on this play. And we asked him why he wasn't there on Saturday night. And this is what he told us. This is how we responded. Now we move on. I think communication like that, I think most fans, they understand where you don't want your players to get, you don't want to say, look at this roster. Thanks, Willie. Can't win with these guys. You're not going to say that as a head coach publicly. You might say it privately, but not publicly. But you can explain to fans what exactly is going on and how you're going to get better. Because Chris is right, man. We heard the same thing from Taggart really for 2 years straight. Like, it's going to get fixed. It's going to get turned around. That will stop. And it never did. Talking about special teams mistakes and timeouts and goofy penalties, that never stopped. And Norvell has to do I don't know if he has to, but it would be nice if he did a better job of communicating with his fans and being transparent about what exactly the problems are, other than just self-belief.
It would help him in the short run, that's for sure.
Yeah. And look, man, I think he's an intelligent guy. He's a smart guy. He's articulate. I think he can explain it in a way where you'd be like, okay, well, that makes sense. But a lot of it is coach speak. Look, man, he's going through this for the first time ever. Like, I don't know that he's ever lost 4 games in his career like he's lost this year. And the ones coming on Saturday might be the worst of his that he's ever had in his life. So he's having to deal with this too and come to grips with, because I'm sure he had expectations, not 10 wins, but he had expectations that they would make a significant step up. And I'm sure this whole season has been kind of a slap in the face to him too, a reality slap in the face. Like, what in the world is going? There's no way he could have expected this. So he's having to mature through this too, and kind of grow up and grow through it with us, like we all are, I guess.
Chris, appreciate the call, man.
Got a question for you guys real quick, though.
Sure, absolutely.
Hey, my gauge for how they progress really is going to be if next year they stop ranking in the bottom of the country on penalties per game and penalty yards per game. What do you guys think, since personnel changes can be slow and culture can slowly change, but that seems like a quick fix to me.
I agree. I think the two things could be the penalties and the special teams. Now, the special teams has taken a step back here in the last few games. They're still decidedly better than they've been, but they're not nearly as good as they were. I think penalties and special teams are two areas where it doesn't necessarily those aren't talent issues, right? Those are just, they're coaching issues or discipline issues. And so that would be a great sign if next year they're like, I don't know, 48th in the country in penalty yards, 44th instead of in the hundreds like they are every year. If they could make a leap up like that and be a top 10 special teams unit, then you can see, okay, these guys are getting their message across in these two areas anyway. That might bode well for the future. We'll see. I mean, you got to hold on to any hope you can right now. You're trying to look for any bright spots. I get it.
Yep. All right. Thanks for what you guys do.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Very good.
Yep.
All right. We saved the best for last. I'm waiting for 35 minutes. He's going to lecture me. Go to the bullpen. Let's go to Daytona Beach floor. Let's bring in Jay. What's going on, Jay?
What's up, Jay? How you doing, buddy?
Please be seated, class. I'm doing pretty good, guys. I'll make this quick for you, man. Watching that Hamza give up that touchdown against that receiver reminded me of when Duran came back he had the injury. He came back against NC State, and the receiver took him to the house. That's the game that Bradley Chubb spat on the field. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
And I remember that. I don't remember Durham getting burnt, but I remember that.
I remember it.
Corey, of course. Continue, Professor.
This is my question, man. Just wanted a little bit of clarity from kind of last week. I was asking you guys about situational awareness, and this kind of piggybacks off the last caller's question. I truly believe that's the first step in, moving forward and climbing back to where we need to be. And when I used the analogy last week about pulling the grass out the player's helmet, what I was saying, Corey, I'm not saying that, you pull the grass out the helmet because you love the guy and your brothers, but it's your quarterback. He's the best player on the team. He has grass on his helmet. He can't see. In order to score a touchdown, he needs to see. So I just thought that's a microcosm of just as a program where we just lack in situational awareness. It's almost like if somebody donates $100, obviously Aslan's going to read that. He's not going to go to the next caller because this guy just donated. So do you guys not agree with that? Or
well, what are they lacking, Jay? Like what is, can you give it like another example of just them not knowing? Situation where I get that, like if you're like on a first date or you're meeting your girl's parents for the first time, you have to kind of know how to act for the first time. But like in terms of like playing a football game, and what have you seen? I know you mentioned
Can I answer that? I think what I would say is, and this isn't fair because Telvin Smith is one of the better linebackers in Florida State history. But if Nate Andrews had grass chunked on his helmet after making a diving play, breaking up a pass, and he went back to the huddle, Telvin Smith sees that. Even if Nate Andrews doesn't, Telvin Smith takes that grass. There are things that leaders do, and that's a very, very, very small part of anything. And I don't even know if it matters. I still feel like I get what Jay's saying, that like somebody takes control and says, hey, dude, he's got grass in his helmet. Let's pick that out. That's a very small microcosm. There are bigger problems, but I can see that. I don't know though, Jay, that I think you're saying it's like team wide. I don't know if you let me put it if he had taken the grass out of his helmet.
Is that situational awareness, Corey? The finger wagging with the scoreboard,
yes. Yes, that's finger, and it's not situational awareness about necessarily like Brendan Gant. That's a whole different situational awareness. Like it's third down, we're blitzing. That you can't be 12 yards off that guy. He's going to throw it to him because he's right in his line of sight. That's an easy touchdown. Get up on him. That's a different kind of situational awareness. The finger wagging, the talking trash after you give up a touchdown, that's also situational awareness that they lack completely. And I don't know. It feels like it's a little better than it was last year, but not much. Not much.
Okay.
But Jay, do you think like what do you want? Like what could you see out of these last three games that give you hope moving forward?
I believe in Coach Norvell. I think he's going to turn it around. It's just going to take time. But again, like with Dante Lucas, we had high hopes for him, and then it just seems after that Wake Forest game when he was talking noise to the opponents, like every time you look up and it's a penalty, it's on 55. So it's just little things like that with little different players. It's the devil's in the details, and it just adds up. But I believe that Norvell is going to turn it around. It's just going to take time.
All right. There we go. Jay from Daytona Beach, Florida. We appreciate it, man. I promise. Thanks for calling. I mean it.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it, man.
All
right. Jay did keep it short.
Hey, that was nice. That was a Jay seemed like in a better mood than normal.
Yeah. Man, kept it nice and to the point. I appreciate it. In the Win comes back, throws 50 bones at your guys.
That's crazy. In the Win. That's awesome, dude. I'm with you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, sorry. $50. Thanks, man. In the Win. National championship or bust. I'm with you.
Buddy, Florida State has played in 8 national championship games in the program's history, I believe. I've been at all 8. Some of them I was wearing Florida State gear. Trust me, buddy, I'm in it with you. I want them to get back there. It is awesome for my job. It's awesome for my my spirit. The people, but I have a lot of friends and family that are Florida State fans. For you guys, that's all I'm rooting for. I don't know after 8 games we can say that this ain't the guy, but I darn sure know we can't say he is the guy either. And when I think he deserves criticism, I promise I'm trying to hammer it with him. Some of the timeout usage, some of the things he's done, the game plan against Pitt, all those things, I hammered him pretty mercilessly, I thought. But you have to do it knowing that what he's dealing with. And this is a tough situation he walked into. A team that's not all that talented. His best players this year haven't played, and then a mindset on a team that's just used to getting boat raced by anybody with a pulse. And they just let it happen a lot. He's got to change all that, and it's going to take time. But in the win, I'm with you. I'm telling you, when we do our national championship party bus in 3 or 4 years, you're on it, you're in the front seat, and you're telling us where to go. We're going to drive anywhere. We'll drive to Gainesville. I don't care.
In the Win says, I need the horn, Aslan.
Yeah, give him the horn.
Sorry, whoever's listening to the podcast doesn't like the horn. Some people like the horn. That's what we do. And speaking of the horn, maybe the godfather of the horn gang, James B comes in last minute, throwing 50 bones at you. Man, we appreciate you. Oh, I hit the music, but then the music didn't come out, so I got to hit it again. Play his music, Aslan.
Big ballin', smashing, making my ends.
And then the horn. And then the horn. He's got nothing to say. He just says, I don't have much to say other than keep up the great work, you two.
You guys are too nice. You guys are way too kind. James B, you're too kind. In the Win, way too kind. You're all too kind. If you give $2 or $7.57, William McMillan, you're insane. But everybody else, we love you. Thank you so much for – imagine this team scoring 46 points on Clemson. How many kick returns? 3? So that's another thing. Did I say that in the show yesterday, that's what I want to see on Saturday? I want to see a kick return go past the 50. I want to see a long kick return busted. Okay. You're going to get a lot of opportunities. Okay. We know that. You're going to give a lot of opportunities on Saturday. I want to see Travis J hit one hard and see what that looks like.
There we go. A shout out to Terry, by the way. Terry helped screen the phone calls. He probably let you folks know that we're wrapping up. Thank you, Terry.
We are sorry, but the show has ended. Goodbye.
That's right. Show is done. Do head to warchant.com. Again, the promo code Nike75, $75 for new subscribers for an annual membership and a $75 e-card to Nike. It's been scrolling all night on the bottom of your screen. Thumbs up button. We would really, really appreciate it. And again, James B, In the Wind, Ed Lamox, Cat, Drill Sergeant Porter, Shane Kirkley, Mark Adamczyk, Matthew Cash, Redbeard, Pistol Mike, William Hall. Abundance.
Way too kind.
Abundance of gratitude. Thanks so much.
I want to give a not shout out to Shanna, my ex-wife. I talked to her earlier tonight and told her she could ask a question, but she needs to tip us. And she said, there's no way I'm tipping you to ask a question. And I said, yeah, okay, but think of it as like tipping Aslan. And she said, no, that's not good enough. So Aslan, I apologize, but just know that we do have great fans out there.
All right.
Shanna, Brady's mom, isn't one of them apparently. And also later on tonight, if you're listening to this podcast, tomorrow night, if you're watching it live, the NBA draft, Florida State for the first time ever could have 2 lottery picks. Patrick Williams could go as high as like 5 or 6, apparently.
I saw 6 Giovanni's board on ESPN.com the other day. I think is that the Pistons at 6?
The Hawks are at 6.
Okay.
That would be something. And then Trent Forrest has a chance to be drafted too in the second round, probably. That would give them 3 draft picks for the first time in the modern draft era. And I think that would give them 20 draft picks in Leonard Hamilton's tenure, with like half of them coming in the last 5 years. This program is something else. Get excited. Basketball season's right around the corner, folks.
There we go. All right. Again, head to warchant.com, promo code Nike75. Take advantage of it. Wednesday, we will speak to Adam Fuller. We'll speak to Mike Norvell, hopefully get some clarity. Again, if you're just joining us now, it appears that possibly Chubba Purdy's health is compromised, so we don't know his status for the game. Hopefully we'll get some clarity on that. And Jordan Travis as well. Head to warchant.com for the latest on that. For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thanks so much for watching Wake Up Warchant or listening to it. Presented by Zaxby's, indescribably good. Have a great one, everybody.